This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition, battle-tested nutrition, expert formulated supplements. Use code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Hey guys, Big Paul here today, and we are going to talk about fat loss failure. Why people fail at cutting diets and fat loss. I work with quite a few people, and I help people out at my gym and whatnot, and I see people that succeed and I see people that don't, and generally there's some common things that happen with the people that don't succeed at getting cut, and I'm going to talk about that today. We're going to dig into it in just 1 minute. Okay, so there are a lot of factors that go into why a cut or a fat loss diet fails, and I see it all the time. You know, in I work with quite a few people, and I have in the past, and in my own experiences too. I know that there's been times that I've failed to achieve my goals, and there's been times that I've exceeded my goals. And you know, there's a multitude of reasons for it. And as I've gotten older, a lot of it's mental. You know, I'm just going to say the majority of it's not physiological issues. It's mental. And people get into their own heads. They start thinking too much. They overthink shit. And then they just start second guessing stuff. And then they start changing things that the coach didn't say to change. And then the next thing you know, the diet's completely off rails. And so some common things that I see, some stuff where people outthink themselves and fuck up a diet. Well, one is people, when they initially start, this is a big thing. People are super excited. They're ready to get going. They want to lose that fat. They want to get that fat off, so they come out of the gate raring to go, and they're supercharged up, and they're excited. And what they end up doing is they do too much, too fast, and they end up burning themselves out. And I've done this before myself. I've been guilty of this one myself. You know, coach says only do 20 minutes of cardio. Coach says only cut your carbs by 50 grams per day. Coach says, you know, keep some fat in. Coach says have the cheat meal. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do twice the amount of cardio. Coach says I'm going to use twice the amount of fat burners. The coach says I am going to cut my calories even further than what coach says. I'm going to do intermittent fasting, even though my coach says don't do intermittent fasting. I am not going to eat the foods my coach said. I'm going to eat even less. And all of these things do is just you end up coming out of the gate and you burn yourself out. So with a diet, to be successful, you have to pace yourself. It's like running a marathon. If you came out at the first mile of the marathon and you were sprinting as hard as you could sprint, you're not going to make it to the end of that marathon. Fat loss is a slow and arduous process. I mean, we're talking about 1 to 1.5% of your body weight per week that you're going to lose in fat. That's about it. That's about it. So on a typical 200-pound male, we're talking about 2 to 3 pounds a week maximum. You know, that's another thing. I think people get frustrated when I say 2 to 3 pounds a week max. That means max. Some people only lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. That's okay. We might need to take a little bit longer with you. You might have a little bit slower metabolism. You might be stubborn. But I promise you that fat will come off if you're just patient with it. You know, so when you come out of the gate too fast, too hard, every time I've seen somebody do that, they fail. Without a doubt, they fail. They get frustrated. They give up. They blame the coach. They blame everybody but themselves. So that is a big mistake that I see people make. Another one too is progress is always slower than you expect, and it's really hard to see. And don't get too obsessed with the scale. People get too focused on the scale sometimes. I mean, I literally, like the last 6 weeks of my contest prep, I only lost a couple pounds. I I barely lost any weight on the last few weeks of my contest prep, but when I looked at my photos, I kept getting leaner and leaner and leaner, even though I wasn't losing weight. So don't get too obsessed with the scale. I think people sometimes get, especially bodybuilding in this community, I'm very OCD myself, but OCD people tend to get obsessed with numbers and get hung up on those results. I have to lose that 2 or 3 pounds per week. You don't. Just look in the mirror, see what the mirror says. The mirror does not lie. And if you get stuck, if you go a week or two without having, I get some guys that go a week or two and don't have results, and then they get frustrated. You will have a breakthrough. I promise, if you just stick to the plan, you will have a breakthrough. Another place where I see guys give up is they get like about halfway through. Halfway through a diet. You should allow yourself 16 to 20 weeks for a good fat loss diet, unless you're severely obese. So then we may have to break up the diet into multiple phases. 16 to 20 weeks. 20 weeks for an enhanced person if you're natural. 16 weeks for an enhanced person, 20 weeks for a natural. Maybe even longer for a natural person. You got to take it off slow. And you hit this point, and I call it, and I've heard my coach call it the skinny fat phase, where you get like halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, and you've lost weight, but you don't look any more ripped, and you look flat and small, and it really fucks with your head. Your brain starts playing tricks on you. This is why it's important to have a coach or a mentor, somebody that can look at you objectively, because it's impossible to look at yourself objectively when you're on a diet. It just is. There's a reason why I pay a coach. I mean, hell, I could do this myself. I know how to do this myself. But the reason I pay a coach is so I have an objective set of eyes that'll keep me on the rails. I remember I was like 4 weeks out from my show, and I was like, hey, Justin, do you think we should throw in some T3? And he's like, dude, remember what the fuck happened last year when you threw in T3? Don't do it. So he kept me on track. I probably would have fucked up and taken T3, and I would have come in flat and small and lost my damn show. So be patient, listen to your coach, and just get through those tough phases. And people, I see it all the time. People start second guessing the plan, they'll give it 2 weeks and they're like, my God, I'm not making any progress. My coach doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I need to make some changes. I need to skip a meal. I need to do intermittent fasting. I need to go keto. I need to do whatever. And they start not following the plan. And I'm telling you, all you're doing when you do that is just fucking yourself, because as a coach, people generally don't tell you that they do this shit, first of all. And then as a coach, I'm looking at the feedback that you're giving me. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm looking at the scale and seeing what it's doing. And then if you're not following the plan, it gives me an incorrect input where I can make adjustments. So it makes it impossible for me or any coach to make an adjustment accurately. So the more accurate you are with the diet and the more strictly you follow it in the program, the better I can make adjustments, or any coach can make adjustments to get you to the finish line successfully. I get it all the time too. I get guys that will reach out to me, and they're like the last 4 weeks of their contest prep, last 5 weeks of their contest prep. I don't think my coach knows what the hell he's doing. I don't look the way I'm supposed to look. I'm behind. What? I need your help. What can I do? And I'm like, my advice is to listen to your damn coach, and then we'll get together in the off season, because this is the worst time to be changing. And what it is, it's the psychological part. I've been there, man. Trust me, I have been there. Your brain plays tricks on you, especially when you're getting into the last phases of the diet and get depleted. A big mistake I see, and I see this constantly, is that people give up too soon. They don't hang in there long enough to see the results. The people that have success, the people that get ripped, the people, it's true with anything in life. The people that do the best and have the best results at things, they just don't give up. They just keep trying. They keep trying. They keep trying to improve. They keep following the plan. They trust the people around them that are intelligent in giving them good advice, and they follow through, and they just keep going. And when you give up too soon, you're never going to make it to the finish line. And once again, back to the marathon analogy, it's like barreling out of the gate. Your coach says, "Hey, you need to run. If you're going to make it to the finish line, you need to run 8-minute miles." I don't know shit about running, but I'm just giving you an example. Maybe it's 9 a minute mile, whatever it is. But you go out and you say, "Well, I'm going to run 6-minute miles." Coach doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then you're on the side halfway through the marathon, puking your guts out, and you have to give up. You can't make it to the finish line. And then it's the coach's fault. So, and when it comes to diets, really you don't start seeing major progress until the last 4 to 6 weeks. Ask anybody that's done a contest prep. You can look back at my pictures. You can look back at my log of my contest prep. When I started making the most progress was the last 4 to 6 weeks. There was 3 months where I didn't really look that different from week to week. I didn't. But if I'd given up, if I'd second-guessed my coach, if I changed the plan, if I did something differently, if I added more fat burners, if I ate different foods, I would have never made it across that finish line. I would have looked like shit. I probably would have gotten frustrated. I probably would have said, "Fuck this," and I would have given up. I've done it before. I can tell you how many false starts I had for contest prep when I was in my 20s. And another thing is if you make a mistake, I get people make mistakes all the time. You have a binge, you have a cheat meal. People get in this mentality where they go into fuck it mode. I'm done now. I drank the beer and ate the pizza and had an ice cream cone. I'm done with this fucking diet. And they just give up. Don't be that like that. Just keep going. Get back on the rails. Get back on the train, man. Everybody fucks up. It happens. But don't and sometimes I'll see this too when people fuck up, they have a panic move. They're like, "Well, I fucked up yesterday. I'm just going to eat less tomorrow, or I'm going to take I'm going to eat half my meals tomorrow." It doesn't work that way. You can't make up for it. You end up just fucking your metabolism up if you do that. Or they skip their next high day, or they change their macros around. Well, shit, I eat 600 grams of carbs today, and I was only supposed to eat 300. I'm just going to eat half that tomorrow. Doesn't work that way. You can't make up for it like that. You just end up fucking yourself. Just get back on the train. Just do the work, and things will sort themselves out. And be honest with your coach. If you screw up, just tell your coach you screwed up. The biggest piece of advice that I can give you is if you're working with somebody that has experience at doing this, is just to hang in there, keep grinding, listen to them. It is a slow, arduous process. Just be patient. Be patient. I can't reiterate that enough. It takes a while. I get people reach out to me all the time. "I'm going to the beach in 6 weeks. I need to lose, you need to have 6-pack in 6 weeks." Doesn't work that way. Just doesn't work that way unless you're already, mostly ripped. You have to be patient. You have to hang in there. You have to take your time. You have to listen to your coach. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. If you have thoughts or comments about diet failures and why diets fail, or your own experiences, put them in the comment section below. I really appreciate each and every one of you watching. Thank you. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.